Hey everybody, this is Madison S. with MyPracticeTestPrep.com, and this is the second video in the training series about how I saved $40,000 and graduated 2 years faster with my bachelor's degree, and how you can do the same thing too. Now, to recap the first video, we covered the dirty little secret your financial aid advisor doesn't want you to know. After all, school is a business, and the longer you stay there, the more money they make off of you. But that doesn't do you much good. Your goal is just basically to get your education so you can advance your career and have a better life for yourself and your family. But it's a little hard to do that when Sally Mae starts sending you a bill for $500 and $600 per month for the next 10 years of your life. So what I have made it my personal mission is to go out and share people my story about how I was able to save $40,000, graduate 2 years faster, start my career sooner without all the debt, and way ahead of my peers. Now, if you haven't seen the first video, please go to mypracticetestprep.com/clap and enter your name and email on that website, and I'll be sure to sign you up for the full video training series. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to find your school's credit by exam policy. But before we do, I want to recap this slide from last time because I think it's important that we review the 5 reasons why you should take the CLAP exam. And I also wanted to go over the 5 people that you need to go back to them and say, hey, how come you didn't tell me about this credit by exam option where it can save me both time and money? Because I'm sure the first person you talked to was your financial aid advisor. They probably wouldn't even let you register for a course until they knew how you could pay for the class. And so I want you to go back to them and say, hey, how come you didn't tell me about this option where I could save money by taking one test and save thousands of dollars? Then the next person I'm sure you talked to was your academic counselor. And I want you to go back to them and say, hey, how come you didn't tell me I could graduate faster by testing out exams over the summer or during the semester and start my career that much faster, which is the real reason I came to school in the first place? And then I want you to go to those people who make those, course college schedule books or whatever they call them. And I want you to ask them, hey, how come you didn't tell me I could make college more interesting? Because now I don't have to take those general ed courses that don't, have nothing to do with my major in the first place, or skip the introductory courses, which I already know, and go move right into the advanced courses, which is the reason I came to college in the first place again. Then I want you to go to your registrar or whoever registered you for the course and say, hey, how come you didn't stop me before I registered for this course and tell me, hey, instead of taking a 16-week course where I have to do reading assignments, homework, projects, quizzes, tests, final exams, etc., where I could just take one test, be done with it, and move on to the next course. And then I want you to go to your college dean or department head and say, hey, you told me I had to take this prereq or proficiency before I could take this class. How come you didn't tell me that I could test out of those by doing a CLAP or Dante's exam? Because I'm sure none of these people I just mentioned in the video have ever told you about CLAP or Dante's or their credit by exam policy that can help you save both time and money. But I am. And that's why I put together this video, because I'm going to show you how you can save time and money by taking the CLAP and Dante's exam. But first, we're going to have to locate your school's policy in order to make sure it counts towards your bachelor's degree, because that is what is important in this picture. Okay, before I show you how to find your school's credit by exam policy, I want to go over a list of 10 questions that you need to ask before you start taking any exams. Because the last thing I want you to do is get towards graduation, think a test counts, it doesn't count, and your academic advisor says, I'm sorry, you can't graduate until you take these courses. So I'm going to include this on a list below this video, because the last thing I want is people to be telling their academic advisor, well, Madison told me it would count. No, I told you need to go through these lists of questions before you start taking exams. So let's run through them quickly, and then when I show you how to find your school's credit by exam policy, we'll go over them again. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get a written copy of your college's credit or by exam policy, CLEP policy, or transfer policy. It goes by many different names, because again, you're going to want this for your record to prove that yes, according to your policy, you said this would count towards my degree. The second thing you're going to want to do is see what CLEP or Dante tests are accepted. Some colleges are more liberal and will accept all of them. Some are more conservative and will only accept a handful of them. So you need to see what CLEP or Dante tests are accepted. The third thing you're going to want to do is see what is the transfer equivalency. For example, the CLEP English composition test, will probably be the equivalent of English 101 or whatever the case may be. So you're going to want to know what CLEP test counts for what classes specific to your college or university. Your fourth thing you're going to want to do is ask yourself, will this count towards my academic degree? Again, if you're a computer major and you're taking, the accounting CLEP test, best case, that may count towards your general elective. Worst case, they won't count it at all. So you're always going to want to ask, will this count towards my academic degree? And the best person to ask that to is your academic advisor. Matter of fact, I encourage you, before you take the exam, go to them, get their sign off, get their approval, so that way you know that once that test comes through, yes, it will count towards my degree. The fifth question you're going to want to ask is, how much credit can I earn? Usually it's a 1-to-1 match. For example, if your English 101 course is 3 credits, then the CLEP English Comp will be 3 credits. Where you're going to want to be careful is particularly in the science classes, because sometimes for your science classes, you get 3 credits for the course and 1 credit for the lab. So you need to verify, okay, do I still need to take the lab, or how exactly does that work? The sixth question you want to ask is, what is the maximum allowable transfer credits? Some schools do it separate ways. Some schools say you can only take 30 credit by exam credits, okay, and that's it. Some schools say, well, you can have 98 transfer credits, but that includes your credit by exam, that includes any AP, that includes any prior learning experience, and that also includes any credits you transferred in from a different school. So you're going to want to know what is the maximum allowable transfer credits you can get, because the worst thing you want to do is start thinking you can take 30 different exams and your school only limits you to 5 or 10. Seventh thing you're going to want to do is to ask, what is the minimum qualifying score? If the college doesn't list it, then usually that just means they're going by the ACE standardization, which I will show you later on. Eighth question you want to ask is there any prior coursework? We talked about some CLEP or Dante exams are upper level courses, and some schools are very strict on that. You need to take the prereq before you start taking the upper level course. So you need to make sure that you're meeting your school's prereq policy. Ninth question you want to ask is, what is the school's retake policy? But you're not going to have to worry about that, because on the next video, I'm going to show you how to pass the exam with a first time with minimum studying. So you're not going to have to worry about the retake policy. And then the 10th thing you want to look for is there any other additional stipulations that we didn't cover? So these are the 10 questions you're going to want to write down, and when you start looking for your school's academic or CLEP policy, you're going to want to fill in each of these blanks. Alright, now we finally got to the slide that I promised you, how to find your school's credit by exam policy so you can start to create your own success story. Now, you all have heard my story, how I saved $40,000 and graduated 2 years faster. But this is where we get into the bread and butter and start to create your own success story. And that is by finding your school's credit by exam policy. I will include this list below. And instead of just reading it to you, I am just going to switch over to an example right now and show you how to find a school's credit by exam policy. Alright, in this example, we're going to use Regis University out of Denver, Colorado. And I didn't pick them for any particular reason besides the fact that they do have an easy credit by exam policy directly on their website. Now, I know what you're thinking, great, my school is going to be harder, but don't worry about that, because in future videos I will go over some other schools and kind of cover some of those difficult things you might run into. But for this example, I just wanted a real easy example so you too can start to create your own success story. So most schools, they always have a search box on their home page. On the home page, you're going to want to type CLEP in the search results and click search. And lo and behold, I'm going to click the first search results. Now, I know some of you may have to navigate towards the bottom of the page or even to the second page, but it is kind of trial and error. Like I said, have been through this example, so I kind of know it's the first one. And this first example, they are going to basically give me the Dantes and CLEP exam equivalencies. So they are going to tell me, let's just get a real good example, that Business Law 2 will count for, this Regis course number, and that, that either it'll count towards your major if you're a business major, or it'll be a general elective if you're basically non-general electives. It'll give you 3 credits. They consider it an upper level course, and it's 52 credits. Now, like I said, I know every school doesn't have it this well laid out, but again, this answers all of our questions. What is the equivalency? Will this count towards my degree? How many credits do I receive? What is the passing score? So like I said, this is the reason why I use Regis University, because it is a very easy example to go through. And so, if I just scroll down, these are the Dantes tests. You can kind of see some of the other tests. They run through it really nice and really laid out. Hopefully your school has something similar, but like I said, I will cover other schools. Now we're getting into the CLEP. I'll cover other schools just in case you run into some difficult things. So, you see it's really nicely laid out that, principles of microeconomics, this is the course equivalency. It'll count towards your core of the social science, maybe towards your major. Worst case, a general elective, 3 credits, and you need a score of a 50. Now remember the last question, one of the other questions I asked is, I think it's here, basically about their transfer policy, like what is the maximum amount that you can transfer in. And this is where I found this. They have a seamless transfer policy, and they say you can earn up to 90 credits, at community colleges, blah, blah, blah. I'm just kind of reading through this quickly. I don't want to run the video too long, but basically they're saying you can transfer in 98 credits through other colleges, prior learning experience, credit by exam. So that pretty much answers all the questions that we asked. And again, I will post that below so you can kind of have it. So this is something which you're looking for. Now, if I was to take this, I would take this list, and I would take the list my academic advisor gave me, and when they said, here is your degree plan, here's the courses you're going to need to take, and I would go through and match it up. If they said, I would need a course, so I would go through, try and find all my core classes. So I got 2 social sciences right here, if these were tests I was interested in studying for. If I needed a natural science course, I would just go through this list and say, hey, what courses do I need? And start to just go through the list and match it up. Alright, so what to do next? I just showed you how to find your school's credit by exam policy so you can start to create your own success story like mine. My success story is how I saved $40,000 and graduated 2 years faster. Now, like I said last video, yours might only be half of that. That's still $20,000 in 1 year faster. Or it might even only be half of that. That's still 1 semester and $10,000. The point is, regardless of how many exams you take, you still save both time and money. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go to your school's website and find their credit by exam policy. I then want you to take your academic plan that you should have got, with your academic advisor, and say, these are the courses I still need to take, and these are the CLEP or Dantes exams that they will accept. Because in the next video, we're going to talk about, now that you know, this list of 4, 8, 16, how many ever exams you're about to take, now that you know what exams you're going to take, now the next question is, how do I pass them? Because I think that's the biggest myth, that the reason why people don't take advantage of these is because they think taking the exam or studying for the exam is actually harder than going through a 16-week course, and they say, well, I'll just, deal with the reading and homework and quizzes assignment than to study, because they're scared studying on their own will be harder. I'm going to show you, I'm going to bust that myth. I'm going to show you how to go from zero knowledge to exam ready in just a matter of days, not weeks, folks. Zero knowledge to exam ready in just a matter of days. So if you haven't already done so, please go to mypracticetestprep.com/CLEP and enter your name and email so you can make sure you get that second video. But just for this video, your assignment is to find your school's credit by exam policy and match it up to your academic degree plan for the courses you still need. So this is Madison S., and I will see you on the next video, folks.